Well, Mark Ogden is joining us, and Oggie's just trying to settle in to Russia right now, thinking of the Euros, but the transfer window waits for no one, Oggie. Let's talk specifically as it relates to Man United, because it seems like the Red Devils are looking quite busy in this transfer window. Let's start off with the obvious. Jadon Sancho, 4 years in the making, finally looks like a done deal. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's one of these deals that's been close for 2 years. It's finally happened. I think obviously it'll get done once the Euros are finished. I think his commitment's right now with England. So once it's done, he'll have a medical, finalise all the paperwork at United. But Dortmund have confirmed it's happening. It's going to happen, barring some disastrous injury or something in the Euros. It'll happen. And I think it's what United have missed. They really need a quality winger to just to create more goals, create more chances for the team, and just give them the extra quality that I think they lack. I think people like Daniel James are good at honest players, but they're not at the quality of Jadon Sancho. So I think Sancho is definitely an upgrade, and he makes United a much more formidable attacking force.
Well, speaking of being more formidable and needing quality elsewhere, that's probably when we're talking about Manchester United's defence. That's been a sore topic, I suppose, for fans for a long time now. Raphael Varane, though, seems to be the name and the big name linked with Man United now. What are your thoughts on this one, and how likely is this to happen?
Well, Varane has a year left in his contract at Real Madrid. He's 28 years old, and United have been given encouragement that he wants to go to United. I think United also believe that they can negotiate a deal with Real Madrid. Obviously, Real Madrid are a tough club to deal with, and I think until it's done, I think United will still say that it's not done. I've been told that it's close, but United are being a little more wary on the record. They're saying that it's a player that they're interested in, they've had discussions about. But the situation with Real Madrid is that they're holding out for a bit more than United want to pay. I think Real were kind of hoping that PSG would come in and kind of make a bit of an auction for Varane, but it looks like Sergio Ramos is going to go to PSG, so that would take PSG out of the equation. So it seems that United have a clear run to Varane. And obviously, United need better centre-halves. I don't think that Harry Maguire has got a reliable partnership at Old Trafford. I don't think Victor Lindelof is good enough. Eric Bailly, never fit. Phil Jones, never plays. I think with Varane, the only issue is his age. At 28, it's the same age as Maguire, but I think if you have Harry Maguire and Raphael Varane, you've got basically two top-class centre-halves, experience, presence, somebody that can command, that can dictate to the goalkeeper and the defenders around them. Just a player that brings absolute class to United. Now, he's a player that tried to sign 10 years ago before Sir Alex Ferguson left, and I think he's a player they've always looked at. And I think, barring Real Madrid decide that they want a lot more than he's worth, I think the deal will get done sooner rather than later.
Now, you touched quickly on the money aspect of it, the fact that Real Madrid, of course, are going to hang on to him until they can get the price that they want, given the fact that they are strapped for cash and were hit badly, as well as Barcelona, with the COVID pandemic. Do you see, we know that Jadon Sancho was probably top of Man United's list, but do you see United as well really fighting this one to get his signature?
Absolutely. I mean, United need better players, don't they? They finished second in the Premier League last season. To be honest, they were nowhere near in the Champions League. They went out of the group stage. They need to start performing because they're going to win major trophies. They haven't won a trophy now for 4 years. I think they need 4 or 5 players. Obviously, you're not going to get 4 or 5 players of the calibre of Sancho and Varane, but they do need better players in the squad. I still think central midfield is an issue. I think Scott McTominay's got a lot of promise. I don't think Fred's good enough. I think Nemanja Matic is showing his age. So ideally, they'd find a central midfielder. If they could get N'Golo Kante or a player of that quality, that'd be the difference for United. But they do need to, I think, jump a couple of windows now and accelerate their acquisition strategy, I think, just to put them in competition with Man City, because City always strengthen. If City get Harry Kane and Jack Grealish, they go further ahead of Man United again. So in many ways, United have to stand still just to keep up with Man City. They have to start running faster than Man City to keep up with them. So I think that Varane, Sancho, and maybe a couple of others are exactly what United need. And I think it could be a busy summer, because if players leave as well, that will help boost the funds for transfer signings.
Well, speaking of that, we can never talk about a transfer window and Manchester United without talking about Paul Pogba. Everyone still questions whether he truly is 100% happy at Man United. Again, the season ended a bit disappointing, or very disappointing, we should say it. Ole said it was a failure after losing the Europa League final. So now Paul Pogba back in the headlines. What's the latest here that you're hearing? What are your spidey senses telling you?
Well, Pogba's had a really good Euros with France. I think he's one of the better players, and he was unlucky to be knocked out. But the situation with Pogba is, it's the same as it ever was. He's got a year left on his contract. He doesn't really want to sign a new deal right now. United would offer him a new contract, but not at the kind of wages that he'd want. So there's a bit of a standoff, because if he doesn't sign a new contract, he goes for nothing next summer. But United don't want to let him go this summer, because it would be seen as a sign of, a backward step to let Paul Pogba leave. So there's a real situation whereby there's not really a market, an obvious buyer for him because of the pandemic, the situation, the finances in the game right now. I think Pogba will stay at the United. He'll run his contract down so that next year, in 2022, he'll go as a free agent, or he can go as a free agent. You know, it doesn't mean he'll leave. He might stay at United and sign a massive new contract, but it gives him the option to decide what he wants to do. Right now, he can't decide for himself because he still has a contract at United. But in 6 months' time, in January, he could negotiate to sign for a foreign club. So I think that Pogba holds all the aces right now. I think it's in his control. And I think United probably accept that he is the one that's going to decide what happens. And I don't think United control this situation right now.
And if United don't get the funds then for Paul Pogba and he does eventually stay and everything's a happy ending, we constantly are talking about which players United can offload to probably help cushion the blow of buying the likes of Sancho as well as Raphael Varane. Who are you seeing?
Well, you know, once Sancho's done it, I think it spells the end for Anthony Martial. It certainly makes him the odd one out because you've got Cavani, who's on a new contract, you've got Rashford, you've got Mason Greenwood, you've got Sancho. I don't see where Martial fits in. And I think he's had quite a long spell at United. Maybe I think it's 5 or 6 years now. I think United will get a decent fee for Martial. I think you look around the team, they haven't really got many other options. They could let Dan James go, but you probably wouldn't looking at 15, 20 million for Dan James. Not substantial money. Look at Phil Jones. Well, again, you know, you're not going to get substantial money for him. You know, I'm in St. Petersburg right now for Spain, Switzerland, and obviously in the Spain camp, you've got David De Gea. David De Gea would be another player that could raise a significant fee for United, but there's not really a market out there for goalkeepers right now. And, you know, I think the best bet they can hope for with De Gea is to loan him out, get somebody to help pay his wages. But obviously Dean Henderson's come back from the England camp at the start of the tournament with an injury. So does that mean De Gea plays? There's a lot of questions that yet to be answered at United. But I think that if they wanted to sell some players, they could probably raise between 50 and 100 million if they were clever. And if De Gea was sold, I don't think he will be sold, though. I think Anthony Martial will probably be the biggest earner that United could think of if they're going to offload players.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.